You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hello. Good evening, my friend.
Welcome back to Sketch Up with Mog and Mel.
Yay.
Tonight's guest is Fabrice Sapolsky, writer, creator of Spider-Man Noir, and publisher for FairSquare Comics. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for this Thursday evening of Sketch Up. Tonight's guest, Fabrice Sapolsky, co-creator and writer of Spider-Man Noir and publisher for Square Comics. How you doing?
FairSquare Comics. FairSquare Comics.
Square Comics. Let's get that right.
No. FairSquare Comics.
FairSquare Comics.
There you go. Repeat after me.
Is that I have it right here.
It says it on his thing.
I know, and I have it right here on top of my laptop.
And
too.
who is like drawing in the wee hours? Me.
Yeah.
You just finished dinner.
I'm trying to. I did. I actually did.
Did you have dinner, Fabrice?
Yeah, I had dinner in the city with my son. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And so once again, both artists are doing a drawing. Mog is drawing on a Mutiny magazine, which happens to be a magazine from FairSquare Comics.
Yes. Amazing content.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
It's super high quality, extremely beautiful content. Amazing high quality content.
And Fabrice, can you tell us what you've got on your board there? What are you drawing?
So Mel hasn't mentioned it because Mel is obsessed with Spider-Man, which I hope he will recover from. But I have this very important series to me called INTERTWINED. And INTERTWINED was released first in 2016, and we released it in 2021, and now we're doing a spin-off, and we're going to talk about it, hopefully. And so I'm doing this Marvel-style boxes that you have like on the covers, but with the characters of INTERTWINED. I don't know if people can see actually what I'm doing, but
I can kind of see it a little bit there, but yeah, okay.
But because I'm using a red pen, and then before, but there will be the 5 spirits of Husing, which are like 5 champions of the elements that are the stars of INTERTWINED, and they will be in this box style that I will not just pencil and ink, but probably color too.
Okay. And now, since you brought that up on INTERTWINED, let's first let's talk about FairSquare Comics. Okay. And how did this come about? And why did you want to publish your own books? What was your motivation for that?
Yes.
Oh, that's that. Okay, so that's a very broad question. So, you well, we have to go back to what happened after my bittersweet experience with Marvel Comics.
Okay.
Yes.
So after I wrapped up the first 2 miniseries of Spider-Man Noir, which brought us to 2010, it appeared very clearly that Marvel was not interested in having more at that point. So I after giving it a lot of thought, like, am I going to pitch something else? Am I going to pitch something to DC? I was like, why would I create stuff and not make money on it, not own it, not decide for its future, and basically gift a big studio my creation? So it was clear that I was going to go for creator-owned comics. And my first opportunity was a comic book that actually was released in the US last year for the first time, but was created 11 years ago. It's a book called The Black Box, which we released through FairSquare Comics in August 2022. And the black box was my first creator own, my first official creator own in 2011 in France, because I'm coming from France. And so, of course, like when I started my creator own journey, my first, hello? Oh, okay. Mog is saying hello to somebody.
Well, she's waving her hand. She's trying to silently say hello to everybody that's on the that's in the chat in the private comment.
Hello, the chat.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello,
chat.
Robin. Hello, Victor. Hello, Stevie.
Sorry, Fabrice. I was trying to be discreet.
No, that's okay. I see you. Yeah. And so so clearly it was I needed to do creator own. So I did the black box. It was not really a success because the publisher overprinted the book. And I was like, we had this conversation. Like I said to him, if you print 4,000 copies, we will sell 2,000 and we can do a sequel. And he said, no, I'm going to follow what the distributor said. We're going to print 10,000. And he printed 10,000 and we sold 2,000 just like it predicted. So he said to me, oh no, we lost too much money. We're not going to do a sequel, which was heartbreaking. And that was another reason. That was another step towards you have to be your own master at this point, because like this is not happening. But I was still not there yet. So after that, I go to San Diego Comic-Con and I meet with Eric Stevenson, who is the head master of Image Central. And we're introduced through a friend. And I said, like, what if I pitch something to you? Are you interested? He said, hell yeah. What do you have? Send me something. And I happened to have a project called One Hit Wonder that I was doing with Ariel Olivetti. And Ariel Olivetti was a superstar, still is. Yes. And so we started that, and Image they were very, very interested. So we signed to be at Image. The problem is that this series was another adventure where Ariel had to leave the book after 2.5 issues because he was going through a divorce and he couldn't sustain a creator own. And so I had to replace him, and we started falling behind and be late. And at the end of the 5th issue, which was the final issue, Image said to me, well, we're not interested in doing the trade. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
So it was kind of the kiss of death, because when you're doing periodical comics, the money's not really there. If you don't do a creator own, you're gonna lose tons of money, and I lost $15,000. So it was another heartbreak, and it was another step towards you have to take the matter into your own hands. And then a few years later, I was shopping around Intertwined, and in 2016, late 2015, early 2016, I was shopping around Intertwined, and I met with Rich Young, who now is the big guy and founder of Ablaze Comics, but at the time was the director of development at Dynamite. And he was very, very interested in Intertwined. He loved the concept, loved the idea, loved the Kung Fu Noir thing. So he signed us. But at Dynamite, we were outsiders. They never really knew what to do with us. And the production was troubled, not because of us. I mean, either me or Fred Pham Chuang, the artist, we really put all our blood, sweat, and tears into this project. But then the marketing was not there. There was some really weird stuff that happened when the first issue was released for New York Comic Con in 2016. And at the end of the day, and of course, someone there who was not really concerned by it forgot to send the trade paperback to the printer on time. And as a result, the trade paperback was late, and retailers downsized their orders, and it was like another catastrophe. And it was like, okay, you're done. I think you give it enough. Marvel, Image, Dynamite, Jungle, you have to do your own thing. And then I was interrupted by life. And in 2019, while I was working for Humanoids, my accountant, my tax prep guy, my CPA, said to me, you know, you're doing a lot of shows. That starts to add up on your taxes. Maybe you should think about having a company and use it as a pass through and try to deduct some taxes instead of like just adding up cash. And 2019 was, of course, a very big year for me because there was a lot of demand because of Into the Spider-Verse. So I was all over the place, and I did a lot of shows, and it was really a great year commercially.
Yeah.
Which was not the case after. But then I created FairSquare Comics at the time, and at first it was just to host my IPs, the Intertwined, the One-Hit Wonders, and all the IPs that I had. And then the pandemic happened. I was let go from Humanoids, and after sending 400 resumes, it was clear that no one wanted to hire me. So it was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself, and I became a publisher.
Oh, okay.
Because no one wanted to publish my books, and no one wanted to hire me. So again, it was probably the right time to do it myself.
Wow.
And that's kind of like interesting, because that's a common journey that an
What a
artist
story.
will go through.
Yeah.
Is that especially when you start creating characters, right?
Yeah.
And when you create a character under somebody else's company, you're noted for the creating of it, but you're not going to benefit from it. It's the companies, the Marvels, the DCs, Dynamites, Dark Horses, that's going to own it, right? So
exactly.
And now we know that, well, at least most of us do, that when you're going to do that, you have to think about it, right? Is that something that you want to do? You're going to get to this crux. Is that something that you want to do there, or is that something that you want to do on your own later, for yourself, especially after you make a name for yourself. Right now, for you were you got a break there when you did Spider-Man Noir, because that really propelled you up and got your name out there.
No, that's not true, Mel. That's not true, because if I look at what Spider-Man Noir brought me, it's about nothing. It didn't bring me fame. It didn't bring me money. It just brought me a curse. The curse is that people keep coming back, talking to me about something that I did 15 years ago, and that I'm trying to distantiate myself from as much as I can. And I don't know if you guys saw the video that I posted last week, but it's just like, I'm not a one-trick pony, and I think I proved it. I released 4 other graphic novels.
You're right.
And so Spider-Man Noir, which is a character that I created at one point in time with Dave Hine, we developed it. But it's just that. It's just a company character, a company world that I work for that didn't bring me anything. My phone didn't start like ringing after I did 2 series and 3 episodes, 2 additional stories of Spider-Man Noir. It's just 9 issues of my life. 9 issues of my life. I can't let 9 issues of my life define my career as a creator.
No, you're totally right about everything that you just said there. Yeah. And so when I said that it was a good time, at least there's some notoriety that came with that. So even with all that, right? Because then it comes down to this, right? If you didn't have that as a credit, right, with Marvel, right, do you think you would have done worse or better than what you are doing now?
I think I would have done exactly the same.
About the same. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Simply because if you look at the number of creators who never had a Marvel credit like I have, and are doing extremely well, they're doing even better than I do. What's the value? What's the added value of a Marvel credit? Let me tell you. Nothing.
That's basically it, is that you get to list it in the credits.
So what's the question?
Nothing. No, I'm not listed in any credits.
What was the question? Like, what's the use of being a Marvel?
But you have it as your credit.
Yeah, but it doesn't bring me anything.
Okay, well, you do have that notoriety, though. Okay, so that, I don't know, I think that if you can put that in your resume, include it in there, that's a plus, right? And if
It's a plus for what, Mel?
What's that, Fabrizio?
It's a plus for what? Like, it's a plus for what? Like, what does it bring to the table? What am I going to use it for?
It just gives you credibility when somebody's looking you over.
Well, no, it gives credibility to Marvel. Me, it doesn't give me anything. I'm just look. At Marvel, at some point, there was a bunch of marketing people who were saying, like, behind closed doors, that if you gave Spider-Man or the X-Men to a monkey, it would sell the same.
What?
And that's unfortunately true.
What?
Yeah, because
that's unfortunately true. Because we're not in the same business, Mel. You and I and Mog, we're in the business of creating stories and making people happy through art.
Right.
Marvel and DC, to a certain extent, they are in the business of perpetuating brands. They're in the brands business.
Okay.
Their comics business is nothing compared to their apparel and merchandising and whatever licensing they can put their stamp on. This is, for us, this is nothing. Like, you have some creators who are able to leverage that, and good for them. But it's not my case. It never worked for me. And I think there are other reasons. There are other reasons for that. One, I'm an immigrant. Second, my first language is not English. And that has been a problem because a lot of editors think, oh, we're not going to hire this guy. His first language is not English. Someone at Marvel told it to my face.
What?
Are you kidding me?
But I'm an immigrant too, dude.
Your English is good, so I don't understand
But Mog, you're not presenting yourself as a writer.
Oh.
I presented myself first as a writer.
Oh my gosh. As a writer. Oh my God, this is so.
Again,
wow.
I have written hundreds of pages of articles, magazines, essays, comics, you name it. I've done it. I've corrected Americans with their English. It happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
it's kind of.
But for some reason, there's a glass ceiling that is impossible to go through.
That kind of reminds me when I was in I moved school, right? And it was high school. And just because I wasn't from, the English speaking country, they just put me default ESL. Even though I could score higher and I could read and speak better English than any of them. Maybe my pronunciation at the time wasn't that great, but that really was like a thorn. Just because I was a foreigner, they just by default couldn't care less if I could test well. Couldn't care less.
Yeah. But there's a real issue, and I think it's not even conscious. It's not even conscious. It's something that is like, and again, we're in 2023. Count on two hands the number of creators at Marvel who have written a comic and whose first language is not English. Two hands. There are no more than 10. I promise you. There have been a little bit more recently, but it's still not enough.
Wow.
And talent should come from everywhere. Actually, Marvel, DC, and other ones, just like I do, should pride themselves in bringing good talents and good ideas from everywhere and promote them.
And that brings us back to FairSquare Comics.
Exactly.
You have a mission, right? And your mission seems to be driven from the experiences that you've had with these companies. So let's get into that. Go ahead and tell us what your mission is, Fabrizio.
Well, so the motto of the company is comics from the rest of us. And by the rest of us, I mean immigrants and minorities. Because A, I'm an immigrant. 2, I'm a minority. And three, I also run the company with my wife, who's also a minority. So it's who we are. So we wanted to show and prove that we have what it takes to be as good or maybe better than the best one in the business. So it's all about working hard, releasing great comics with great comic book values, with wonderful premium quality, and show people that there's life from the most unexpected creators you can find. And the second thing, so that's one pillar. The second one is creators' rights. I was mentioning it earlier.
Right.
Creators' rights. There's a lot of issues in our business with creators' rights. And still, yes. Well, just one fact: Image Comics, which was supposedly a house made by creators for creators, was created 31 years ago. And the situation is now for creators is now worse than when they started. Why? Because how many creators are we losing every year because they can't make a living in our industry? Like, let me tell you, it's hard. It's extremely hard. I mean, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to be a comic book creator, and there's a lot of sacrifices that go with that, like health insurance. Forget it. And unless you're Medicaid or Medi-Cal in California, you cannot have access to insurance. If you don't have enough money to buy a home, unless you're in the 1% that makes a lot of money in comics. It's only very few creators are living large in comics. Most of us are just going from commission to commission, paycheck to paycheck, and we're trying to survive with the crumbs that we get. But why would we do something else? We don't know, or we don't want to do anything else because it's the best thing in the world. So we accept those harsh conditions. We accept these factors, and that's it. That's it. But part of our mission, and part of what I'm doing at every comic book convention I attend, and I attend a lot, is to educate people on who we are, what we do, and why they have to pay $200 for a commission. Because when you spend 10, 15, 20 hours on a piece, it's less than minimum wage in many states. So we have to educate people. That's also why I dislike digital comics, because it destroys value. I believe in books. I believe in the reality of content. I mean, it's fine to me if you like digital comics, but buy the book first, and we'll offer you digital.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that the amount of time that an artist will do on a piece. There's very few that's getting paid a rate that would value their time, right? And as you said, the reason why people stay in this business and continue to do this art, call it whatever you are, but there's a lot of love and passion. It's something that they endure.
It's all about the love for the business, for the art, and the love for each other. Because despite the fact that this is a very lonely business, there's still a lot of love. The comic book business is the only business that I've ever seen where a creator will come to your table, buy your stuff, and then you go to their table, and if you like it, you'll buy their stuff back.
Right.
We can be fan of each other. Talent is not duplicable. Like, of course, there are idiots who think that you're stealing my pie, you're stealing my work, you're stealing whatever. Most of us are rooting for each other because there's room for everybody. We're all different.
There is, and we all the way how people do their art, how artists do their art is different. We get influenced by different things. The way how the art is portrayed is different. So it can be accepted. That's why there's nobody here that just follows or mainly follows one artist. They follow several because they like what's being put out there. And
absolutely,
for your FairSquare Comics, so you're really on on a mission that's not just trying to get these stories out there, but you are trying to put a really diversified group of comics out there. Are you accepting projects from other creatives?
Yes, we are. We are. But the thing is also, we're limited by our size. Like, there's so much that we can publish every year, and we accept creator owns. Like, if you come with your creator own and it's all done, and you're looking for a publisher and it's compatible with our plans, and we like it, and we think it has the values and the quality that we're looking for, we're going to consider it, and we're going to make you an offer that. And I'm saying that, like, I'm very comfortable saying that is unmatched on the market. We have a better deal than Image. We have a better deal than Dark Horse. What we don't have is the brand recognition yet. That is clear, because the company has only been around for 3 years. But we got everything else. So, and if you look at what we're doing, I mean, let me take an example right here.
Oh, okay. Before you do that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break.
Let's take this time to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll continue with FairSquare Comics and Fabrice Sapolsky.
Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find the link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
Comic Collectibles is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rockin' Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, well, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Hazer and others. Simple formula, you want the comics, you buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectibles with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP.
All right.
Welcome back to Sketch Up on the Experience. Yes. We're here tonight with Fabrice Sapolsky. Just a reminder, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Once we get to 1,500 followers, various shows on the Experience will be handing out free slabs of comics that are worth $100. So, you know, if you can help us out there, we appreciate it. And don't forget to like, share, and comment as well. That helps out a lot as well. Okay, so Fabrice, you're gonna show us a comic book the sample.
Oh yeah. So I took this opportunity to actually take a few of them to show people a few things. One, when we're doing graphic novels, I mean, I was talking about Intertwined. Here's Intertwined. So Intertwined. There are a few things that we're doing. Let me put that here. There are a few things that we're doing, and I think nobody is doing. And to me, it's like just our common sense. So first, because I like how it is, most of our covers have a soft touch. Because I believe that comics are a sensory experience. And when you buy comics, you need to feel the premium quality. So we're always doing that. We'll also using a paper inside that's a little thicker than other publishers, because we want the books to be durable. too many people, like too many. If you look at some graphic novels, they look cheap, and they are cheap, but ours are more expensive because we want people to respect them, and we want people to understand that the work of these creators has to be respected. The other thing that we do, and that apparently no one is doing, is that the spine is a place that is rarely used, but we're using it for something really, really, really awesome, and that is the one line pitch. Like we're doing a one line pitch. So if you look at Intertwined, it's like in New York, everything is intertwined, even for heroes. If you look at Watson and Holmes here, Watson and Holmes that was just released as part of the Noirs New Black collection, it reads Noirs New Black present Watson and Holmes solving mysteries in Harlem together for the first time. And I could go on forever. Like we have Beyond Topia Legends, we have, I mean, you mentioned the black box. The black box is here. The black box is just imagine a mysterious black box capable of recording every conversation in the Oval Office for 200 years. And you get a one-line pitch so that when you're looking through your the racks of your favorite store, you will see something like a real sentence that will explain you what's in the book, rather than seeing obscure creators that you have never heard about. So that's the kind of thing. The other thing is that the way we're presenting our books is also different when it comes to periodicals. Most of American comics publishers are doing periodicals the same way. They're doing periodicals that are stapled, usually 32 to 40 pages, sometimes less, for something between $3.99 and $5.99. Okay. But we decided to do something different. We're doing mini graphic novels. So all our books are square bound, and they are between 48 and 72 pages, and they range between $9.99 and $12.99. So it packs more value. It packs more value and more content, and it's more durable. So for the collectors, it's going to last longer, and it's going to have a way better grade if you buy them.
That's a fantastic value. And if you guys are interested in picking up any of these books, you can go to FairSquareComics.com/shop. Right, so check that out if you get the chance.
Can I ask a dumb question, just out of curiosity? So the content that you have inside, you said it's about 72 pages, right? Is it 40?
It's between 64 to 72 pages. Yeah,
64 to 72 pages, right? Because when we ship comic books, like just regular comic books, Marvel, it's considered not a book because of the commercial advertisement inside, so it's considered something else. But is your book inside?
It's a book. There's no ads. Book. No ads.
Okay.
No ads. A barcode. It's a book. We use media mail to send all our periodicals. Now, if you don't want to go through us, you can go to your favorite comic book store, because we're distributed by Diamond. So you can go to your comic book store and ask for it. And if your retailer doesn't carry our books, well, maybe we should have a conversation with him. Maybe you should have a conversation with him.
Right. And that's an interesting point that you brought out there, Fabrice, because you do go through Diamond.
Yes.
Why not try? Have you thought about going to, like Kickstarter, Indiegogo?
I did that. Intertwined actually started as a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter in 2016 before it became a comic book. The problem is that Kickstarter is going to the casino blind. You're gambling, and you don't even know what's going on after that. You have no access to the metrics. You have no access to the audience. You just there. You just go there, and you just do as much promotion as you can, knowing that it's going to be mostly useless, because 60 to 80% of the people who will pledge on your campaign come from the Kickstarter ecosystem. And you don't have access to these people. You can't talk to them. You can't promote them. You can't pay an ad to get them interested. you can't do anything. So you have to rely on Kickstarter itself to help you. But sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. You can't predict that.
Interesting. Okay. So,
and I'm not a gambler.
All right.
I did 8 campaigns.
Uh-huh.
And I failed 4.
Okay.
So we're even. I'm not sure I want to do more. I mean, actually, I'm going to do one more in March because we have a book that the creators want to go to Kickstarter first. So we're going to do it, but it's stressful. You're obsessed. You're on the edge when you're doing your Kickstarter campaign. I'm not sure I want to do that forever. I mean, I admire people like Laurie Foster, Russell Nohelty. They're really great at it. They're great at it, better than I will ever be. And sometimes you have to admit that you have limitations. I don't do everything well.
Oh, and you try to do a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, because
we're still releasing 2 to 3 titles a month.
Right now, and from your first year with FairSquare Comics, how many titles did you do?
The first year was 2021, because 2020 we just prepared, but
right.
The first year was 2021. We did 4 titles. In 2022 we did 10, and in 2023 we're going to end up at 27.
Wow! So it's like you're going through about a 200% increase every year so far, right?
Yeah.
And I know you do a lot. Okay. And how are you able to do all this? Are you still finding your workload? Is your workload even getting lighter? And how are you managing this heavy workload that you do with the different hats that you have to wear?
Well, I'm not sure I manage well. Because like there's always someone who said, you should do this, you should do that. You should be better on this. You should be better on that. I'm like, my days only have 24 hours and I only sleep 5. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Like, yes, my social media, my social media should be better. Yes, my CRM should be better. Yes, my website should be better. But look, my comics are great.
And we get the same thing too. You know, they say, "Hey, when are you going to get this done? When are you going to have this up? When are you going to do this? You know, I hear you want to do a book. You know, when are you going to do that? Yeah."
And the worst part, Mel, and you're gonna understand that. The worst part is that initially I created FairSquare Comics to release more comics of my own. But I end up taking care of other people's comics instead of doing mine. So I can only do 1 or 2 a year of mine, which is ridiculous. Why am I doing this?
Because you care about the
because I care community. Exactly. I care about the community and I care about people. But like it's just ridiculous. And as a matter of fact, as you guys know, tomorrow morning we're announcing the Soleil stations for May. It will be released on the Previews World website, and I have a title that is a spin-off from Intertwine.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yes.
Do you want to play the clip first?
Okay. Let's see. Can you play the clip, JD?
Go ahead and talk for a few minutes, and we'll have that for you.
All right. So maybe you can give us like a wind-up on it.
Okay. So the book, so it's a sequel to, let me show you again, Intertwined. Intertwined. So Intertwine is a Kung Fu Noir series. It's based on Chinese cosmology, and it stars 5 champions of the elements who are the spirits of Wuxing, the champions of the elements. And so they have powers and they have all sorts of adventures, and there's a lot of corruptions. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, but with Kung Fu.
Nice.
So,
better.
And it's set in 1971 New York, where the city was in decay. It was really bad, and so you have all sorts of adventures that have happening inside the spirits world and outside in the real world. And in the first volume, there was this character that from the start I knew I was going to develop. And this is a character. Her name is Leah Aitian. She's Chinese from Kaifeng, but she's also Jewish. And the state of minorities and especially ethno-religious minorities in China during Chairman Mao's tenure was really blurred, and Judaism was not recognized as a religion. And so it was really hard. And the number of Jews, there were like thousands of Jews in China at the turn of the 20th century. And it went down, 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 up to the point where, at the turn of the 19th century, sorry. And it went down, 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 up to the point that there were just like a few. Recently, like there has been a kind of a renaissance with people converting, people like trying to find their roots there. But it's still a very, very, very small minority in China. But the story takes place in 1971, 72, and flashes back to 1969, 68, where you see what's the status of this woman who fled China to avoid a forced marriage and poses as a man because she's afraid. And then she gains these powers. And all of a sudden, her past comes back to haunt her in New York, and she knows that she has to confront it. And that is the story of this volume, this new volume that is called Intertwined: The Last Jewish Daughter of Kaifeng. And it's a story that it took me 6 years to write it. So there was a lot of research. There was a lot of growing pains to make it happen and to find the right tone and the right balance. But let me tell you that it's probably one of the projects I'm the most proud of that I've done. Okay. And look, I'm not proud of all the projects. I'm not going to tell you which ones I'm not proud of, but I'm not proud of all the projects that I've written or illustrated. Yeah. But this one, just like Lady Bird last year, Lady Bird was like, it was like my heart was completely. I was a mess after I finished writing Lady Bird, because Lady Bird, I put so much emotion in there that it was really exceptional. But after Lady Bird, my next project was this one, and it took me a long time to finish it. And I'm working with two Asian artists on the book. One that is a Chinese artist. Her name is Fei Chen. She illustrated the first 19 pages. And then another artist who's from Malaysia. His name is Ho Seng Sui. And all three of us, we have crafted this book that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people.
Beautiful. Just out of curiosity. Okay.
Well, at this time, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to see if we can play that video, and I'll allow Mom to go ahead and ask her questions. And if you like what you're hearing, make sure you can make a purchase on FairSquare Comics' website and to get these books. Okay, we'll be right back.
All right.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting.
To be continued. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Go follow the experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me.
Hello, I am Dirk Manning, the writer of books such as Tales of Mystery, and I am super excited for you. I'm almost jealous because you, my friend, are watching the experience.
Once again, thank you for coming back to Sketch Up on the Experience. We're here with Fabrice Sapolsky from FairSquare Comics. Would appreciate it if you would hit that thumbs up button, give us a like, share, and comment as well to help us get our followers up there. Once we reach 1,500, we'll be passing out slabs free of charge, valued about $100 each. And they'll be doing about 15 of those, right? So it's well worth that challenge. Now, both artists are working on a piece of art that they're drawing themselves. If you want to bid on these, Fabrice Sapolsky is starting his at $50, and Mog has hers starting at $150. Okay, so you can take a look at those there. And Mog, you had a question that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, because when he was talking about Ladybug and he was so emotional.
Ladybird.
My
Yes.
bad. So Ladybird.
Ladybug is another series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're talking about Ladybird, it was so sad and emotional, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Were you by any chance like crying during the creation of it? Sometimes I heard that it's a really good story. It's an emotional story if the writer himself is crying when you're writing it. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't as go as cry, but my eyes would be blurry.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we do have a bid on Fabrice's piece for $100. Okay,
Woohoo!
so we have a
Woo!
nice.
Well, I only started
bid on
inking.
that for
So
100,
wait,
okay?
let me show you. Like I only started inking.
Okay,
So,
there you go.
but I finished the
Beautiful.
5 spirits. So
Okay.
it's gonna be
There you
interesting.
go. So that's going to be nice there. Okay, and Margaret, yeah, we can kind of like see yours there, right? So
Yeah.
let's see if we can see that video.
Yeah.
JD, if you're.
Let's
ready
see
for
that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That was gorgeous. If that doesn't get you guys to jump on FairSquareComics.com and put in an order for that, or talk to your local.
Actually, you can do even better. If tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. If you go to previewsworld.com and you use the pull list tool that they have, you can add those. You go to the FairSquare Comics section, you find the books, and you put them on your pull list, and it will be sent directly to your favorite comic shop. where you will be able to buy it. So
I'm recommending everybody here go do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was a fantastic. Fabrice gave us a little bit of an extra on what the book was about, and
and for the record, the book will be in color. It's just that I don't have the colored pages yet.
Right.
So right now you see a lot of black and white, but the book will be full color.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get that. Let's get that book in there, you guys. All right. Okay. So and now, you wanted to talk about also the other book that you. What was
Which
it?
one?
Oh, Photonic.
Photonic. Oh,
Yeah.
Photonic.
Man
Oh,
of
Photonic. Oh, yeah. Oh, so Photonic, Man of Light. I don't know if you have the covers. You covers to show. Did I send you the covers for that?
Kyle, I'm not Kyle. JD can bring that up because I sent him all the files you sent me as well. See if he has that. But go ahead and talk about that.
So that's actually the cover. That's my cover, but it's the cover for issue 2. But issue 1 will be in stores in exactly 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And I really need a little love. So Photonic is a very interesting series. It's a series that was created in 1979 in France, and it was created at the studio that belonged to the French licensee of Marvel. So Marvel in other countries, they're going through licensees.
Right.
And at the time, the licensee was a company called Lug. And Lug was based in Lyon, which is not Paris. It's another city called Lyon. Not everybody knows where it is. So I'm saying like it's in the east, the south, kind of like center southeast of Paris, about 500 kilometers from there, which is about not 250, but like 300 miles, something like that. And so they had this studio, and at one point, superheroes are so popular in their magazine that they were like, we have to do something about it. We're not bad at creating comics. We can do as good as the Americans. So we're going to create our own. And they created 2 or 3 series, and 2 of them really became hits. One was called Micros, and the other one was Photonic. And I always loved Photonic growing up because Photonic is very emotional. It has the heart and knife tale of Silver Age comics. So it reads like a Stanley or a Chris Claremont comic from the 1970s or the 1960s. It has a little bit of Spider-Man, a little bit of Hulk, a little bit of the X-Men. It has all that encapsulated in a series which stars 3 outcasts. One is a character that suffers from kyphosis, which means he's a hunchback. The other one is a Holocaust survivor with psychic powers. The third one is a psychic with powers, and his powers are like he cannot miss his targets.
Okay.
And these 3 characters are going to save the world in the most unusual way, but also asking questions about who they are and how these powers change them. And they will realize that there might be better without them. And so this story is a very human story within the story. So flash forward to last year, and I was having a conversation with a person called Raphael Walker, and Raphael is the person who handles the licensing for the creator of Photonic, Shiro Tota. And I said to him, look, I know that you're restoring this material. You're completely restoring the art, recoloring the files, sometimes retouching the letters and all. I'd be interested if I could publish that in the US, because I think that it would be a blast. And for me, it would be like kind of like a child's dream. And so he was very enthusiastic. And Shiro Tota, the creator, I mean, he's in his 70s right now, so he's like he's not as fast as, but he's still producing art. And so they agreed. We broke a deal, and we're starting now. So we pre-published the first adventure in Mutiny #3. which had its own cover created by Paul Renaud, who's a Marvel superstar. And now we're releasing issue 1 early March with 3 covers, one from Chiro himself, one from Stéphane Roux, who is an incredible artist, another French guy, and another one from Ivan Fiorelli, who is one of the X-Men artists right now, and who also happens to be one of the artists who worked with me on One Hit Wonder 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was all in the family, and so we're launching that right now. My fingers are crossed. It's not an easy sell because a lot of people are like, "What is this new superheroes about?" We don't really understand what it is. But I mean, look, people say there's no appetite for superhero beyond Marvel and DC, but Radiant Black was a huge success a couple of years ago. And I think Photonic, even though it's a little different because of its Silver Age feel, is something, and also it's for everybody. Like, it's not uber violent. There's no nudity. There's no blood. It's something that you can give to a child of 10 years old, and it will still enjoy it the same way I enjoyed it when I was 10. So it really is something that is universal and that everyone can enjoy. I hope people discover Photonic and give it a chance.
And that's interesting what you said, that how you're getting a reaction to it, that people don't want to read superheroes, right? And that's the vibe that we're getting as well, because people are not happy with some of the decisions that are happening with mainstream. And then you have Image here who's saying that they don't want to do superhero comics. They're looking,
but they do.
They do, but it's not something that they seek or want to try and push.
Exactly.
So, and then you come out with Photonic, which is kind of like a throwback, and I think that's what the people kind of want, at least the guys like me, because we like that stuff from that era, the 60s and the 70s, right? Because now when they come out with a new hero, it's a rehash of another hero, right?
Exactly.
There's not much of an originality there that's happening, and it's kind of boring. I don't really want to read a new Green Lantern just because he's a different color, you know.
Yeah. Well, and in this case, it's not that at all. I mean, first you have a hero that is disabled, and it's something that is very rare. And the second thing, it's not about fighting; it's about surviving.
Yeah, and I seem to get that theme in your stories, that there's more of a human element in there to make it more add almost a humanitarian quality to it, to make the stories more real, more relatable. And I think that's what's needed today, because we can't give the kind of comics that we're used to reading back in the 60s or 70s. We're not that as innocent anymore. Okay, and we do expect more with the kind of things that are coming out in the media today. And,
yes.
And that's the cover for Photonic #1. Is that the one right there, Fabrice, on the screen?
This cover B, yes. It's cover B from Photonic #1, yes.
Okay.
Cover A is that's the Stéphane Roux cover.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this cover very much.
Okay, now tell us more about Ladybird, because I know other people are going to be curious about it. You're saying that was like very emotional, and you've kind of like touched on it, but we haven't heard. I think you can be more enlightened about that.
Yeah, so Ladybird is a series that came to me during the pandemic. During the pandemic, there's a few things that we learned. One, that the broken healthcare system was more than broken. Second, that
it still is broken.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I know.
It's been broken.
Second, that abuse has become almost common, and it's horrible. Like bullying, abuse, trafficking. There have been horrible stories that came out in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And my first idea was like, what would happen if someone was trafficked because of their abilities? but traffic just to become supply for the drug industry. And I remember that about six years ago, one of my friends from France sent me a public domain novel from a person named René d'Anjou. It's a stage name, by the way. And René d'Anjou wrote that story called L'Oiselle, which translates to Ladybird. It's actually written in the original thing, the Ladybird. Okay. And it was about this woman called Vega, and she came from a mysterious island, and she had these powers, and she had all sorts of adventures, and against her was this evil person called Count Saint Remo. And he said to me, like, look at this, maybe you can modernize it, and you can find a way to make it work. And I didn't think about it. And then when the pandemic hit and I started thinking about that, I remembered that story. And I was like, wait a minute, there's this thing about abuse. We can connect it to the original Ladybird, and boom, I got my story. I got the story of these two women, Vega, who lived in 1909, and Mina, who lives nowadays. And these two women came from the same place, a mysterious island. I mean, in the original novel, the island was in Europe, but I thought it was better to put it in a place where no one would look, and it was actually off the Philippines near the Palau Island. And I created this place. Let's say that I used the original concept and I fleshed it out. And in Ladybird, my story, this island is a spot where gravity is negative. That means that everyone who was born on the island, stepping out of the island, can fly.
Wow. Okay.
Because then their natural habitat has a different gravity.
Yeah.
And so, so they have that, and they have another ability that is extremely important. Their health system is perfect. They cannot become sick. They cannot be ill, nothing like that. And so, of course, if someone comes across a person like this, they will be tempted in exploiting them.
Yeah.
So you have this guy, Count San Remo, I kept that, who comes across a merchant, a businessman, who smuggled Vega at the turn of the 20th century to Europe, and he's selling her to him. So it's human trafficking number one. And what this guy does, and this guy represents everything bad about not just colonialism, but exploitation of colonies. This guy comes from a family which was in minerals, in wood, but they would source it from islands, from other continents that were colonized by the British, by the French, by the Portuguese, etc. And so he transforms Vega as a weapon of war, and he makes money during World War I using Vega.
Yeah.
And then Vega disappears.
Okay.
And flash forward to now, and we start the story with Mina. And Mina doesn't understand why she's prisoner. She doesn't understand why she's captive. She's been captive all her life. And then something happens and she escapes. And this is where the real adventure begins. And she will have to find the path to freedom and find who is the person who wore the helmet before her, which would be Vega.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Very, very interesting and
very deep. Very, I love it. Yeah.
You can see how that could be very emotional.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking to all this, don't forget you can go to Previews World and put in your order in there, and that will go to the comic book shop of your choice, where you can go ahead and just pick it up. Or you hit Fabrice, give Fabrice
please do.
DM, and let him know what you think, and he can also advise you like on how you can get those books as well. Right? And that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely.
But you see what I how hard it is. I've known you guys for a while, and you were at shows. My book was there. You never noticed. Why? Because why? Because your mind was somewhere else.
Correct.
And
correct.
And that's the thing. That's the hardest thing in our business is to be discovered, to have your book not just bought but praised and talked about and offered to third parties. And like I remember when I did Intertwine, I had people ordering 2 copies, one for themselves and one to offer to somebody. And it was like at first I was like, this is a surprise. I didn't expect that. But because people were so in love with the characters that it was clear for them that they shouldn't be the only ones to discover it. And and I like to think that comics are a place of emotion. Comics are a place where you have to feel something. If you don't feel something after reading a comic, that means that the editor, the publisher, and the writer didn't do a good job.
Yeah, you're right about that. Because even for me, at an early age, when I was starting to collect comic books, and that was in the 70s, okay, and I was reading them because of the action and the escapism that it gave me, okay. But when I read the Captain Marvel graphic novel, right, put out by Starlin, okay, and you're reading that book and you're trying to figure out what the heck is going on here, and then you realize what the story is about, okay, it's very, very touching, okay. And that book still remains one of the best stories that I've read that I like in comics. It's definitely in my top 10 list. So you are correct about that. And I have mentioned to Mog that if you can also do that in the art, relay that emotion and connect with that emotion in the piece that you're doing, then you're going to do the same thing. And we see that across the board, even in music, right? They tell the singers and musicians that if you can convey emotion in your craft, you will make that connection and relate to many people, and that will get you the numbers that you want to see. You'll envelop in people's minds of this piece that they're not going to forget. Okay?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're looking for. Not just because of the fame, but we want to do something good, something that kind of gives us a good message of what we can use as a human being in how we live. Right? And
I don't want to bring the everybody down by saying this, but I'm at an age, I'm 52. I'm at an age where I know that my comics will outlive me. Yeah. And so it is very important to not just be proud of what I offered to the world, but also have people cherish it so that I can know that it's going to be fine after I'm gone. Right, and it's just like, you don't do this for the fame. You do this for the legacy. You do this for the legacy.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. You're going to do it for the legacy. Forget the money and the fame, because it ain't worth it.
there's no money and there's no fame, so that's funny.
Yeah, you're not going to get enough of that to make it worth it.
Yeah.
So you're going to do it for your legacy and hope for a better world that follows after you.
Oh yeah.
Impact on it. Yeah. You are so right. But you've got a good mission on that for sure. Yeah.
But you're right. It's very difficult to steer the ship like as a publisher and as a creator, and also find the right balance between both. It's really hard. But again, I have no right to complain. This is the life that I chose. I could be flipping burgers or push carts or be a Uber driver, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think that was my calling.
Yep, no, I hear you on that, right? Because I started out in IT, right? When I started collecting comics, and that was like when I was a teenager, my dream was to have my own comic book shop. Okay, but you know, you go through what your parents tell you. They want you to have a good job and everything. So I got into IT, and I was in it for a long time. Okay, and I did good. I was good. Okay, but I wasn't. My calling kept going to the comics, so I finally quit that, and I ended up doing this in different, very different aspects of it, where I finally landed here as a creative, not a real creative, but managing Mog, right? But and I'm making less, but I'm much happier.
Yeah.
And this is where my passion is. That anybody that's around me will tell you that, yeah, Mel ain't gonna be happy doing anything else. Yeah, sure, I could go back to IT and make more money if I wanted to. That's not what I want to do. Yeah. So when you guys are out there supporting your artists, think about that, right? If you think they're asking for too much money, they're not. They really aren't. They're for the amount of time that they put into their work, whether they're a writer or an artist, right? They're not getting paid enough, especially when you see that some of the guys that we've known that are icons and legends, right? And they're suffering in their healthcare because they don't have the funds to be able to afford what is needed. It's sad.
It's really sad. Yeah.
It is sad.
Yeah.
And the
like,
thing is,
yeah.
a few years ago, the Hero Initiative was
Right.
really helping, but it seems like with the pandemic, I wouldn't say it went away, but it's been struggling, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Because before the pandemic, I would see the Heroes Initiative out there, and they had a good presence. But that hasn't been the case since we've come out of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really complicated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's.
And by the way, Mug, what are you drawing?
It's a surprise.
Aha.
Hey,
No,
see if you
just
can
kidding.
See there if you can take
It's
a look.
slowly
at it.
gonna reveal itself.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
really sure what it is either.
Yeah, I'll explain later when it's done.
Yeah, we talked about it, but I don't think
It's got a
she's-
lot of elements in it. So
Are you drawing what we talked about?
yes, my love.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And Fabrice, can you give us a peek of what you have going on?
Yeah,
right now?
come on, dude.
Oh yeah. So all right.
There
So
you go.
I'm 3 in out of 5.
Nice.
All right,
So-
and we have a bid. The opening bid on that was $50. We've already got that. The bid on Fabrice's piece is at 100. So if you want to place a bid on that, the next bid we can accept is 105 or higher. Okay, and Mog is still looking for an opening bid of 150. Right. So if you want to do that, just go ahead and say so in the comments, and we will get that down. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Share, like, and comment as well. Let's get our numbers. Help us get our number of followers up there. Once we reach 1,500, various shows on the experience will be handing out through a drawing, I guess, slab books that are valued at $100 each. Right, so something to look forward to. Okay, Fabrice. So
Yeah.
what? You're jumping from 10 books to like. Was it 27 bucks this year?
Yes.
And I got.
Well, but I have a secret. I have a secret.
More to it than that. What is there any other books that you can tell us about that you're excited about that you have coming out?
Well, I have to say I'm excited about all the books. That's the problem. No, the thing is, there are a few books that are already there that I'm really excited about, and one of them is Beyondtopia Legends.
Okay, yeah.
So Beyondtopia Legends is a mini series of 3 issues. The first 2, this is issue 2, cover B. The first 2 issues are out. They're in stores already, so people can buy them, and they're pretty cool. It's an anthology style series. That means that in every issue you have 5 short stories, and these 5 short stories are different every time. So you can read the issues in different order. Not the third one that comes out next month, because the third one has a real conclusion. So you have to save the third one for last. but
Okay.
but 1 and 2 you can read them in whichever way you want.
How many pages are in there?
How many what?
How many pages are in there?
The first one is 64, and the second one is 76.
Wow, and so that's another great value there.
Another great value for $12.99, and again, square bound, high quality. The art is gorgeous. I mean, I don't know if I can show you some of the pages. What can I show you? Well, this is okay. This one is more on the anime side.
I saw that one before.
This one too.
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful, and it comes from, it's the brainchild of Brian Valenza and Henry Barajas, but mostly Brian. I mean, Henry has some stories that he really pushed and that are really incredible, but it's Brian's baby. He came up with the Beyond Topia Legends concept years ago, and he took him all these years to develop it. And Brian is a color artist, but he's an artist, period. And I think you'll be surprised in issue 3, again, that comes out next month. You see a story that he actually co-wrote, drew, and colored. And I've seen the pencils. And I don't know why Brian is not drawing more, because it's really good.
It is good. Yeah.
So there's a lot there. There's a lot in Beyond Topia, and there's a lot of different genres, but whether it's horror, action, thriller, adventure, magic, vigilante. I mean, Peligrosa here that you see on screen is one of my favorite stories. It really is. This book is really, it's really fantastic. It's the kind of book, as a publisher, when you receive that and you see all the varieties of stories and artists and creators and styles, you're like, this is a box of chocolate, but every flavor is wonderful.
Yes.
And
I like that.
There's not one that you leave for the end and you're like, nah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's not one that you're gonna leave for the end and just like, nah, I'm not sure. No, all the stories are really good. And I wish more people like discover this. And when we go to shows, Beyond Topia is selling really well. Like, people really see it. But again, it's the same thing. When you are going to a comic book store, you have so much choice. You have so much to see. You don't even know. Sometimes, I'm sure, Mel, it happened to you. You come to the comic book store, you're overwhelmed. There's too much. You come out and you haven't bought anything because you don't know what to choose. And if you don't walk in with a purpose, with someone that you want to buy, it's going to be difficult. So Beyond Topia Legends is one of those easy reads because it's short stories. And it's, I mean, a lot of publishers don't like to have anthologies. And I understand that it doesn't work for everybody. But our initial hit was Noir is the New Black. Noir is the New Black was an anthology series. So it was our biggest success. And to this day, it's still our biggest success. So it is really, I thought, okay, we can do it with different things. And it's also a way to learn about other cultures. Brian lives in Indonesia. Most of the stories are adapted from Indonesian legends. And it's something that you don't see at other publishers. And I'm like, okay, that's what we do. We're showing things, just like with Photonic, just like with Ladybird, just like with Intertwined. We're offering stuff that you will never find at any other publisher.
And I think that's what makes you stand out. We just need to get people aware of what you have.
Yes.
Right. And I'm hoping this helps you a lot. I know that we like you said, we've known each other for a while, but to be honest with everybody there, this is actually the first time I've actually had a chance to sit down with Fabrice and be able to talk about. We talk business and the industry a lot, but we've never ever talked about FairSquare Comics. So I'm really glad for this opportunity.
Yes.
We had planned to try and hook up in December, but Fabrice was busy. He was living here in LA at that time, getting ready to move back to New York, and he had his daughter got married. I go, oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
One of
that
my
was
daughters. I mean, the other one is married also. So yeah, it's just
yeah. You think that we would eventually have the time. I honestly believe that we would get together, and
yes.
meet somewhere here and talk business very passionately and have a few laughs. And it never happened.
Yeah.
No, because look, and also when we met at conventions, there's very little time
There is very
because
little time.
because we're fishing for customers, and people don't realize that you can spend 3 days next to another creator that you absolutely adore and only be able to say hi.
Yes.
You don't know how much that kills me every time
I hate
That
it.
kills me.
And there's
That kills me
people
too.
there, legends, icons that I want to go talk to, because those are my heroes growing up when I was reading comics, and it kills me
Yeah.
that I gotta. It may look like I'm not doing nothing at the con, that I'm just like standing there at the table, but trust me, there's a lot going on in my head. The gears are constantly spinning, as Mog and other people will tell you. It really is hard.
I know, and I say, like, Fabrice, you're such a nice dude. Like, you come to my table and always manage to say hi, but I don't think I even got a chance to even say hi to you and get to your table. So yes, I apologize for that.
That's why Fabrice,
I see Mel all the time.
Okay.
Mel is coming for you.
Okay.
But let's get to we're going to get to some of the comments here.
Yeah, let's answer some questions if
but
there's any.
But we're going to, we'll do that in a little bit. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to. Oh yeah. So Stevie B, that's Stevie Beyond. He says, "Bless you. The color work on the book looks amazing. I totally agree with you, Stevie. And we did send that package out to you today, Stevie. So you should be getting that real soon. Sorry
Thank you,
about sending it out late. And then we also got, it's like finding something to watch on Netflix all night. And that's from JD. I agree with you, JD, because as Mog will attest, I'll go into a comic book shop. I want to like check something out, and I do. I walk out of there with nothing because it is kind of confusing. It's not like the days before, like in the 70s or in the 80s, when I started like working full time, and I would walk into the comic book shop and I would walk out of there spending like $50 a week with a stack of comics that I was going to read that weekend. It's not like that anymore. At least not for me. It isn't. So it does get confusing there. So Jamie's also asking, is the Batwing house cat up for adoption? My cat needs a buddy. I'm not sure what you're talking about. That. Oh.
This kitty here, he's got a Batwing.
Oh, he's got a Batwing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I see what you did. Okay. Yeah. Well, it is up for auction if you want to place a bid on that. But yeah, it is confused. But that once again, I don't know about the rest of the people here, right? But listening to all the stories that Fabrice has told me, and I'm definitely more aware of the products that he has.
Well, there's more stories. Like, I mean, I have stories for about 100,000 podcasts if you want.
I love it. I love stories. Please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
not all of them are happy.
Get over to FairSquareComics.com/shop and order your copies now. Let's help Fabrice.
Now I have a question for you guys. Okay. Like when people come to your table,
right?
Are they curious about you, or they're just looking for a piece, or they're just drawn because Mog has been associated with a brand like Game of Thrones?
Actually, for me, it's not even Game of Thrones. That's like the last thing they even notice. It's just the artwork they see, and I guess it's unusual enough for them, and they're like, "Whoa!" And then they stop and look, and then they start browsing, and then they're like, "Oh, can I follow you? What's your name?" And then I point out, "Oh, it's there." And then they read, oh, Game of Thrones. Okay, like Game of Thrones literally is the last thing they actually do. They are aware of. And the thing is, I totally agree with you when you said you hate being associated with being creator of the Spider-Man Noir,
Mhm.
right? Because you're like, that's just, you know, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, you want to like go away, get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also in the same boat. Like, I don't want to be pigeonholed, but unfortunately, that's what I'm known for, and I'm just marketing that way. But thankfully, the fans, I mean, the people who just drop by and walk by me, they have no idea who I am, and they just stop and look at the art. So thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And so I have two things that I want to say, if you don't mind, Mel. I'm sorry I cut you.
No, go ahead.
First, the guy who said, I want to distanciate myself from Spider-Man Noir. Let me tell you, I'm trying. I still haven't managed to do it. I have eliminated all traces of Spider-Man Noir from my table at shows. You won't see any mention of it yet. Look, the commission that I'm doing right now.
Oh my gosh.
There's someone who a very nice guy. His name is Tim. He sneaked into my Instagram message and said, like, I saw your video and I apologize, but I really want a Spider-Man Noir. So I'm ready to pay for that. And I said, well, this is a commission. So it's not because I don't enjoy it that I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
You want a commission?
Yeah.
I'll do it. But it's hurtful, you know? It's hurtful because I've been drawing so many other things. And right now I'm trying even to purge my my portfolio. I have a couple of portfolios that I can show. And I'm trying to purge them of all the company-owned characters, and replacing them actually with generic characters, with characters that have more value and that probably would resonate with people. Like, for example, I drew this hip-hop girl here.
Nice, nice.
And well, this is Merca and Dolfo's character, Sweet Paprika, just because I really like Merca. But like I did this one too that I really enjoy. Where is it? Of course, when you're looking for a piece that you can't find it. Where is it? Oh, here. Like you see that girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Now, do you expect? JD's asking, are you going to expect to get a bigger influx of noir fans now that there's going to be a Spider-Man Noir TV show?
You're playing with me now.
You're playing with me.
No.
You're playing with me.
No.
It's look.
Just saying, get it ready.
Again, you watched my video, and everybody who hasn't watched my video should go on my social and watch the video that I did to address the Spider-Man Noir TV series. And it's very clear, and I'm not going to say anything more about it because I said it once.
Okay.
There's nothing to expect. I was not credited. I was not credited nor compensated into the Spider-Verse. I will not be credited nor compensated nor involved with this one. This is how it is.
And that's sad.
No, it's not sad. It's not sad, man.
I don't think it's right.
It is the business. It is the business. It's called work for hire. When you sign a contract with Marvel, it's a 70-page contract where you basically sign off everything that comes out of your mouth. You're in an elevator at Marvel and you whisper an idea and someone hears it or someone tapes it, it's theirs. That's how it works.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Fabrice is right about that, because we've heard many stories from many artists that have worked for mainstream comics and others that have gone that route. And that's something that has been trying to change, and we thought it was going to change in the 90s. That didn't quite happen.
Yeah.
And it's still there.
Last year, I started something called the Royalty Series. The Royalty Series was, I took my royalty statement from Marvel, I printed it on an artboard, and drew a piece on it. I did 6 of them. I sold 5. I still have 1 here that I have to complete. And that will be finished, and that will be the very last
Spider-Man Noir that I draw, okay? That I draw all by myself, like, except if it's a commission. It's a commission and you're going to pay me $200 to $300 to do it, I will do it. But if not, I will not, okay? So yeah, yes, there's a surcharge, Stevie. There's a surcharge. Every Spider-Man Noir commission is 50% more expensive than any other commission, which is fair. You want Spider-Man Noir, you're gonna pay more.
There you go. Yeah.
But that said, it's still not discouraging. That means that I'm not charging enough.
Wow.
So
I should charge $500 now.
There you go.
And then they would not come.
You'll be surprised. You know, I would not be surprised that they're still going to come. Not as often, but I honestly believe they'll still come. Somebody's going to say, "Hey, this is rare. You know, he doesn't do this that often." It's like trying to get a McFarlane signature. You know, he doesn't do it anymore. Getting one is a challenge.
Yeah,
you're gonna put it up there to $1,000 for Biso, and somebody's still gonna come at you.
Yeah.
Then that's $1,000 for me.
That is correct.
I need that,
and it will be worth it.
Oh yeah, it will. Look, it will be worth my time. That's for sure.
Definitely.
But the thing is, like, what would make me happier is that people understand that behind the brands that they love, there are creators.
Yeah.
And without us, there wouldn't be any brand.
That is correct.
And the thing is,
good point.
by keeping their eyes closed on the situation, they are entertaining the system. And the system is not going to help us. It's not going to care about us, and is not going to benefit us. So we need to change the system. And the only way to change the system is to have creator owns that are actually discovered, that are praised, that are loved. So first we have to do good comics, and on top of doing good comics, they have to be sold by comic book stores, and we will do more. And it's catch-22, because I read somewhere in the comments you need to do more series and more regular series in stores. I think people have no idea how much it costs to put together a comic book.
Yeah, they don't. But hold that thought. We're going to have to take a break at this time, and we'll be right back with Fabrice Sapolsky.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time. What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting.
Did you know that across America there are over 2, maybe even 3 live stream producers who can't even afford Mountain Dew? Take Brian here. Brian has gone 2 weeks without a sip of Red Bull. If it goes on much longer, he may take a shower and get a real job. Situations like this are as tragic as they are preventable. Join the experience on YouTube and gain access to special emojis and members-only streams. For less than a cup of coffee, you can keep socially awkward hermit people working from their parents' basements where they belong. Scan the QR code on the screen to join. You'll be glad you did.
We're working.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Let's get our follower counts up there. Right? Once we get to 1,500, we'll be able to pass out various CGC slab books from on various shows, valued at $100 each. And if you're looking for more original artwork, don't forget the original art show on Friday afternoons, actually, with Nick Barucci. Okay. And we're here with Mog Park and Fabrice Sapolsky. They are drawing, and Fabrice's pieces has $100 bid on it already, and we are still looking for an opening bid of 150 on Mog's piece. We are accepting bids of in $5 increments. So if you want to go ahead and do that, say so in the comments. And don't forget to join us next week as well, when we have Charlie Stickney with us. If you don't know his book, he puts out White Ash. It's doing very, very well in the as a Kickstarter. We'll be talking to him about that and what his plans are in the future. All right, so let's get back here. So
there's a question, Mel. You got to answer.
Okay, what's here? How has work for hire existed for so long with so much of the freelance workforce against it? If it weren't for the TV and movie money, the big two probably wouldn't have survived on comics alone.
It's probable.
Yeah.
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 I mean, definitely the TV movie has helped them survive, and we actually don't know how long Marvel would have survived without being bought by Disney. We will never know.
It's a hard call because Marvel was going through a really, really bad time in the 90s. Almost going to get totally just get almost like a disappear. And it got saved by Murdoch. And I remember seeing the stock at $2, and I was like, I know I should buy it, but I didn't. You know? And you can't foretell the future, but in looking behind is you always have 2020, right? So yeah, it would have been a great buy at $2, and look at it now. And that's not saying that Disney hasn't had their problems as well, because they've had many issues as well, trying to struggle, keep their numbers straight and staying in the black.
Oh yeah,
who's to say? But that's the way how it goes, and we'll see how this all pans out. They might even get to the point where Disney may have to release Marvel. It's not something that they would want to do, and that would be very, very hard for them to do, considering the kind of empire that they are kind of trying to create.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
I was just saying that kind of reminds me of what you said, Fabrice, like in the beginning, how you overheard how the conversation in Marvel when you're working for them, that their focus is about brand, not even content anymore. And I think that's the difference between right now in, for example, Japan, in the manga industry. Sure, they have like it's not the big two, they have about a big five, but I'm sure there's a little bit more now. But the big five, so to speak, they don't focus on the brand. They focus on story always. So maybe like as a company, if you always focus on story rather than being seduced by the brand itself and trying to make money out of that, you will definitely have more longevity in the long run, right? I don't know. That's just what I was thinking.
I mean, the Japanese industry has a very weird relationship with their creators. Yes. Because the creators are like gods when it comes to deciding the morals of things, but they have no say financially.
Right,
so
that's correct. The good thing about the Japanese, though, is that at least they have support from their government.
I thought they get royalties too from what they.
They get, but they're still not making as much as the rest of the food chain, and that's still problematic.
Yep. Yeah. So in that sense, they're in the same boat. Okay. They have their issues. Some of it the same, some of it different. Okay. Right. And yes, manga right now is doing very well. Okay. But who's to say when that can flip? nothing really stays on top forever, and this market
That's
has
very true.
right. So I honestly believe that it'll come back around. What shape and form that will be, I don't know, because there's so many things, elements that are present now that were not here before in this industry. So it's changing, and so it's hard to say where it's going to land.
Exactly. It's really complicated. And
Very.
and every year, like, look, never ever believed in digital comics. I think digital comics are really useless, and that it would never work. But the illusion was for a few years that it would,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, a lot of people, especially independents, they burned themselves with them. So now where are they? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
It is really tense.
What
Yeah.
about then the webtoons? That's a digital comic format in itself, the web comics. And they
Oh,
seem
don't
to
start
be
me
doing,
that.
huh?
Don't start me on that.
It seems
Don't
like
start
they're
me on
doing
web.
really, really well, you know?
Well, define really, really well. What do you mean by really, really well? Are creators making a lot of money? No.
Huh.
First, webtoons, you have a problem. The problem number one with webtoons, if you ask me, is that you're competing with content from Korea and China and Hong Kong and Vietnam that has been paid for in another country, and it is trusting the top 20 or the top 30 of all the readers. So you have to compete against content that is already paid for. No problem. Second, it is extremely taxing for a young creator to come up with 60 to 80 episodes of their webtoon without being paid, without having insurance, without anything, any guarantee of success, any advance,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yep.
And you push them towards that. They're doing that. They're gonna spin into depression. They're gonna have issues. They're not gonna trust themselves. And what else do they get? They will probably try to promote. So they will engage cost. They will invest money to promote something, and it's useless most of the time. Like, let's face it, out of the millions of webtoon creators, how many are actually making money? 100, 200, 300, 500? That's nothing compared to the amount of creators that you have on these platforms. This is ridiculous. And the illusion that you will make it by having that, and it's always your fault. And that's my main problem with all these tech-based platforms. It's like, it's not working. Well, you should have more followers. You should have a bigger fan base. You should have this. You should have that. What the hell?
Well, that's the model that
Hmm.
was also with Tokyo Pop in the 90s, right? That if you were lucky enough to get published by them, right, it would take a year before you saw a payoff. And that's from the point when your book is released, okay? Because of the
Right.
process they would have to go through. So you're actually creating content for about almost 2 years before you see a paycheck, and hoping
Right.
that it will be good, because it's based on sales, right? And that first book that you
What?
turn in, you're not going to get a lot back, because that's going to help pay for whatever costs Tokyo Pop wanted to charge, or whatever the company wanted to charge you, which a lot of it is going to be marketing, promoting, administration costs, distribution, and whatnot, right? So it was amazing to me, like, how those guys would even like consider, even some of the American kind of comic book artists, they were trying to like break into that, but once they got the contract, and how you got a clear picture on how Tokyo Pop at that time operated, it was ludicrous. And it doesn't surprise me that Tokyo Pop went out, because of their how they operated. So Stevie B here has said, what's sad is that if Marvel and DC stopped publishing and started to license out their products, it would still be a work for hire framework because they still wouldn't have to provide benefits. Yeah, that's true.
Well, they don't have to provide anything, and that's the thing. They don't have to do anything. There's no accountability. There's nothing, and I can say that like it's easy for me. The chances are I will never work for them again. And why? Because they're not interested. They told me. So if they're not interested, you know, the thing is that you have creators, and I know a bunch of them, mainly guys, I have to say, not so much women. They still live with the hope that one day they will have a Marvel credit.
Yeah.
I am the proof, and I'm saying it without any regret. I am the proof that it doesn't work like that. You can have a Marvel credit. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to do anything for you. Nothing. Nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah. And many people have asked us, like Mog and Mel, why have you not tried to work for any of the big companies, right? You can easily apply and probably get in, okay? And that might be true, right? But I've never been in a rush or have like a strong desire to do that, right? Because I've been in this business for so long, and I've known about those companies and what it's like. Sure, it would be nice to get there, but the story that I get all the time is that a lot of people will get in there and then they're just not happy, right? So why would I even try to push Mog in that direction?
Okay, let me speculate why. This is just according to it's a common belief and what I kind of observed. When you're in the comic convention, the moment you have like that Marvel or DC credit, people will tend to flock to you just because of the name. Like that's it. Like because of the credit alone itself.
Yeah, but they don't care about you. They only care about the credit.
Exactly. They're holding like lines of like books of that maybe issue just to get it signed or something. And then the other people who sees that, like maybe other artists who are tabling, and they don't have any of that, they're like, oh my God, I have to get on that, because it's almost like you made it if you get in there. It has that belief that.
But that's the thing, you did not make it.
No.
Exactly. Like, I mean, the reality through you, because you said you're a living example, it's not quite the case, you know.
Yeah. No, not at all.
But
and for many of them,
the illusion of the artist is, I have to somehow, if I make it to the big two, that means it's like a what do you call those slabs? You get the certified slab, and you get like a 9.8 grade, the CGC. It's like you got CGC, and now it's legit. Now you are legit.
Yeah. Well, about that, please remember, guys, that this portion of the market is really small. Like where the money is the bookstores.
Yeah.
The comic book store market is what, 30% of the total book market. So like you can think that you're there when you have a credit at one of the big companies, which is again not true. But will they defend your chances in the book market? Probably not. Because this is not their playground.
No.
And you have the two biggest comic book companies in the US who don't have to sell books. They don't have to do it.
Nope.
Because they're making so much money with other rights, with merchandising and other type of rights, that they're just doing it as a loss leader. It's R&D.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've heard that discussion of how they wanted to get rid of comics, you know, just do away with it.
Yeah. Well, they will never do that. I don't think they will ever do that.
I don't think so either. But that discussion has popped up. And so from Stevie B, he's asking, would Peach Momoko have the following she has without her Marvel and DC credits?
Okay.
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Yes, I don't think so.
Why not?
You think she's overrated?
Okay, more famous now because of that stamp. Marvel DC. It's like that the
Mhm.
stamp of approval.
And that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that if she didn't have that,
I don't
if she
think
didn't
so.
have Marvel and DC.
I don't think so.
Well, you know, this is a business. We're not in a fair business. Like, and I say that having a company called FairSquare. It's not a fair business. It's a relationship business.
Yeah.
Like, Peach Momoko burst on the scene because at one point she crossed paths with someone, probably CB Sapolsky, because he speaks fluent Japanese and he understands that.
Right.
And
an Asian.
And he liked someone is holding grudge. And he liked what he saw, and he offered her a deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. Mainly you have to be discovered. I remember that. I don't know if you guys have followed how the Ninja Turtles were created, but
I do.
It was not a success,
Mm-hmm.
and it just took one guy, one stubborn guy, to go door to door until he found a partner to make toys.
Mm-hmm.
For you, for me, for all the independent creators, we need an ally that will fight for us. I haven't found this person. Right now I'm fighting. I'm not fighting alone because I have friends and I have my partner and I have like people who believe in me, but the people who can make the difference, I don't have that. I don't have an agent. I don't have that. Maybe I will have one day. Maybe I will never have one. It doesn't matter. It should not change the way we work. Like, I see a lot of people saying, well, it's better if you have one of your books that is adapted into a series or adapted into a thing. And I say bullshit. When Stan Lee and all the other old school creators, they created this, do you think they thought a minute about movies? They didn't even have the special effects. They didn't think about it. They were happy in 1966 when there was a crappy cartoon that starred most of Marvel creators, most of Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And it was just trace the the comics.
Right.
And I remember reading an interview of Dave Gibbons, the co-creator of Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when Alan and himself were creating, Alan Moore and himself were creating the Watchmen, they didn't care about it being a movies or a TV series or anything. They just wanted to do their work and make the best possible comic they could make.
Right.
And I think that, and I have nothing against the creators who have a Hollywood in their sight and they really want to get there. I respect that. This is not for me. Like, I just want to make comics. I want to focus on what I know and what I know how to do. And I know how to make comics. So I make comics.
Mm-hmm.
And if by any chance one of those comics is one way or the other turned into something else, that's just a bonus. That's not the goal. The goal is to make comics.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're in the business for, right? Anything else that comes after that is bonus, right?
Yeah.
And you really don't want to get your head caught up in that because it can be very depleting.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to focus on this goal instead, and if that happens to come your way, great. And I think if you're persistent enough and you stay focused on that, I honestly believe it will. I've seen that happen many times in this industry already. Even people I didn't believe would make it has made it, and they've gotten their notoriety and fame and glamour with it.
But I think a true artist, like a creator, like what Fabrice said in the beginning, is we really don't do it for money or fame, because if you were, we wouldn't even be working for this. It's because it's the love of the craft. We just love it so much. We want to keep doing this until we die, and then it's a legacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and also look,
that. So
I don't know about you guys, but
I will never have a retirement. I will never have it. I mean, I moved to this country too late in my life to have anything. So I will probably die making comics, which is not sad because that's a good death. But yeah, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. We live in that world.
Yeah.
As long as we can live well and be happy with what we're doing.
I mean, well is related.
Other people that are in positions where they are financially much better, but they're not very happy. And I think I'd rather choose a path that keeps me more happy than what I was before. And I can tell you, like, even in IT, and I was doing a lot of things, including traveling and doing a lot more things that were fun, but that was help fend off the pressure that I had at work and whatever else was going there. But I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be as I am now.
But anyway, I think back to Steve's question about mystery piece. Yeah, well, you know, here it is. So it's basically, it's in a cabin. So it's a pirate scene because the title is Mutiny. So I was imagining like one of the crew killed the pirate. I mean, it's just basically this girl. And now she's in his cabin and she's the captain because of mutiny. She revolt. And and she's sitting on the captain's chair. And then here's the, what do you call this, Mel? The buckshot thing, the vintagey buckshot. There's a little chest of gold coins. Yeah. There's a candelabra, and then there's some like crystal wine, whatever. And then just to show that it's like a fantasy. And then this is the window lattice work, like an iron, you know, wrought iron. So the sun is coming through here, and she's got a pet. It's a kitty cat, but it's a fantasy element where the it's got wings.
A cat with wings.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cat wings. Yeah. And then this is like a perspective, so she's crossing her legs. So you can go here, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is the dead captain's head, and she's holding it like this.
Oh, yeah.
She's cradling his head. It's kind of morbid, actually. And then and then you got this angelic face. So the contrast of this versus what this is shows a bit of a jarring sensation.
And along with the kitty
cat. Dreams that Mog is having.
Shut up.
Oh, we don't want to get into that.
All right, so
wow.
I have started coloring. So
you colored it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I chose a small piece, because I know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is Mutiny by about the Mutiny magazine, please.
What it was?
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So I want to thank Stephen B for placing that opening bid on your piece for 150.
It's
Stevie,
a magazine size.
Thank you very much. We'll send this out much quicker. Fabrice, I'm going to send you the information on the on your bidder, and you'll be able to contact him and collect.
Sure.
I do want to thank you for joining us here tonight.
My pleasure.
Make sure you check out. Okay, well, yeah, all right.
I guess it's not really quite 2 hours. I think we started a little bit late. It says live 1:58.
Well, I've got 2 or 3 videos still to render out, so I can sit here with you guys if you want to keep going. If not,
well, at
the
same time, I don't want to keep Fabrice because remember
he's 3 hours ahead.
You're 3 hours ahead. Is that right, Fabrice?
It's 11 p.m.
It is, yes, but like right now, I'm not ready to sleep. Like you guys have woken me up. You woke me up.
Oh no.
All right. Well, okay. Let's stay on just a little.
That's okay. My next meeting with Diamond is only at 10 a.m. Don't worry.
Yeah, you said you only sleep what 5 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours. And I mean, I don't want to say things that are like a little trivial, but guys at over 50, we tend to go to the bathroom every 2 hours or so. So
Wow. Okay.
so yeah, I wake up frequently during the night.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's similar to me because I'm averaging like maybe 5-6 hours of sleep at night.
Really?
And,
Well,
yeah,
then your body is in a better shape than mine.
Oh, is it because of, is it number one or number two? You have to do
What do you
Number
mean?
one.
number one every 2 hours. Every
Number 2, I would call 911.
Well, it's number 2 that I do in the morning shortly after I get up. But that's
I
not
love
the
how this
reason that
conversation
keeps me
shifted
up.
from comics to something else.
You know what? When Mog is here, that's where it ends up going all the time, and I don't know why or how it gets steered that way, but it does. You know, and
I
she's
like
over
it,
here
Mog.
snickering and laughing.
Wait. So when you're younger, you can hold it longer?
Well, you know what? We were not going to get into.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
We're not
this
gonna
is
go
couples
deeper.
therapy with Mog and Mel. That
You can say
is
that for
very funny, guys.
another time.
I like it. You crack me
Oh,
up. So
Hey,
I'm disappointed
I do have
because
a CPAP, Stevie. I actually do use a CPAP, and I've been using it for almost like 20 years now.
wow, that is so interesting. The prostate grows with age and leaves less room for the bladder. So it's a natural phenomenon.
Yeah. Okay. So then that makes sense. That explains why I have to go more often than
Yeah,
I did before.
it's nothing to be ashamed of.
You know.
It's natural.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's natural. It's over 50. It's what we have to go through.
Yeah.
I had something that I wanted to say, guys. So initially I was really happy that I would see you at WonderCon, but I had to cancel.
You canceled WonderCon?
I did.
Yeah, because
I have
now
to-
it's New York. I bet the cost is more expensive, right? The ticket.
But is that the reason why?
Yeah, the cost is the reason why, but
Okay.
the reality is that because the market is so tough right now,
Yeah.
I just can't afford it. You know, I
Right.
can't afford it, and it's the unfortunately the business of conventions, and I also canceled Amazing Vegas for the same reason, because
Okay.
the ticket was $700.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're in the same boat as you, right? So we
Yeah.
love doing like shows like MegaCon, DragonCon, cons of that that are closer to the East Coast. But I dropped those because of the rising costs, right? It's just gotten more. And
Yeah.
what makes it hard for us is that Ron doesn't want to go alone. So I'm going with her, and that really
Yeah.
increases our traveling expense. For
I mean,
those-
that's the same thing for us. I mean, I just don't want to, I can't afford to go alone anymore. So
Wait.
Crystal is coming with me, and when it's not Crystal, it's my son Ethan. And but you can't stay and be alone at a con when you're a creator. It is really hard. Like you can't even go to the bathroom. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So, Fabrice, like, do you then always travel with somebody when you do a con?
With Crystal.
Not all the time, but for cons that are like 3 or 4 days, I'm
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah. For the cons that are just the weekend, I can go alone. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But for cons that are like 3 or 4 days, it's just impossible. It's just exhausting. Between selling and drawing and the stress and all that I can't. I'm not young enough. And I suggested to promoters, but of course they chose not to hear what I had to say. I said, like, look, if the farther you come, the more you should be helped.
Yes. Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't care.
No.
So
No.
but the convention business is another source of frustration for independent creators, because again, we're never going to be chosen.
No.
And it gets back to what Mog was saying about the credit.
Yeah.
Even with the credit, I mean, the credit sometimes helps you getting a free table, but that's all you get.
Yeah.
And so let me tell you, coming from that part, because most of the shows that we do, we are given the table. But that's not even a guarantee, because placement of that table is also a big factor.
Yes, you are right.
50% of the time, we're in a location that just isn't, it's just isn't there. It's might as well, we may not, it would have been better if we just didn't do it at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have a say as to where we want to be, right? It's just assigned to you, right? So it's not all a bed of roses. It's nice, and yes, sure, yes, it does help, but it is definitely not a guarantee that you're going to do well there just because you have a comp table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely. And these cons are more expensive every year. But the thing is that there are so many people who want to attend that whether we go or not, it's not going to change the life of the promoter.
Nope. No. And here's another thing. Okay, some of the things that I've noticed too is that there are more cons popping up. Granted, there's a lot of small cons, but those small cons are having an impact on the bigger cons, because in the cities where you have a lot of cons, like take for example Chicago. Okay, right?
Yeah.
It seems like the success as a vendor, as a creator, as an artist, whatever it is that you're trying to do and promote at the show, is not as easy as it was before, because you have all these other shows that are less expensive to get to, right? They don't have to spend as much, and their money's going to go there. Okay, and now at the bigger shows, you're still going to get a lot of people that go there, but you're losing some of that volume because of the impact that these smaller shows are having, right? So now that we're starting to experience that, I have to look at what city is the show in, what do they have going on, when are all those other shows, is it going to be worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's really hard. Like, I know that I've looked, and of course, I love these guys. I love the guys at Fan Expo, but I had to look at all their shows. And and for example, I want, and even the shows I wanted to come, there was no room for me. Like, I wanted to be at Vancouver this weekend, but Kevin said to me that there was no space for me. So it's like, it's very hard, even with where you have a good relationship with the promoter. It's still very hard to get a table.
There's so many that want to do that show, that Vancouver show. I think that's their number one show there in Canada. Is it not?
No, that's Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Okay, yeah. So they're because I don't know if Vancouver is experiencing like what, or Canada is experiencing like what we're going through here in the States, where they have like a lot of shows. Their shows are pretty well scattered throughout their continent. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not that, I don't think it's as easily for fans there to attend a con. So it makes it worthwhile. And because of that, artists, creatives do want to do their shows there, especially at the big ones like Vancouver and Toronto. Right. Even I'm thinking about doing it, and I'm targeting it for next year as one of the bigger shows that we do that we have to fly to. Right.
Yeah.
But I won't know that until the end of the year, and when I make my decisions there.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh my God, Fabrice, like, you're such an interesting person to talk to. You have so many like different opinions and knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and we definitely want to have you back. And on that note, I do want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And stay tuned with us next week when we have Charlie Stickney, writer, creator.
Oh, you're gonna have fun. He's a very interesting guy.
Yeah, he's very interesting guy, just like you. Right, so
I don't know him, but
a good show. Yeah, we loved you. We loved having you, and I definitely, like I said, I want to.
Yeah, dude.
Here. And you want to get the books,
and I'm making progress.
There you go.
Beautiful.
That's gonna end up going to Kyle, and we'll give you his 411 on that. And
thank you, Kyle.
You want to get? I definitely encourage everybody here, go to FairSquareComics.com, order Fabrice's books. He's got great stories that you haven't read, that isn't like rehashed or so much as like the everything else that's out there, right? And watch for FairSquare Comics, because they are on the rise as well. And
Yes.
find out where Fabrice is going to be. Visit him at the shows. Say hi to him and buy more of his books.
Yes, please.
Yay. Please do that.
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Let's get that count up to 1,500 bucks and get those slabs out there. Okay. And I want to thanks again for everybody for joining us. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Join the party. Head over to our Linktree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.